hurricane-force winds in excess of 140 miles per hour for a duration of several hours.
We are getting the outer rain bands of this storm as it moves ashore.
That's Fox's Jonathan Seri in Panama City Beach.
Right now, there are mandatory evacuations underway for zones A, B, and C. What that means is the 3 zones closest to the water, they are telling everyone to get out. Parts of the region could see as much as a foot of rain over a very short period of time, and powerful winds could produce a storm surge of up to 13 feet. That's going to cause serious problems in these low-lying areas along the coast.
375,000 people in 22 counties urged to evacuate around the Florida Panhandle. The surge continues around Junction, Texas, west of Austin, for 4 men still missing after being swept away by a flood that ravaged an RV park earlier this week. More than a dozen others had to be rescued by boat or helicopter. President Trump back out campaigning last night, this time in Iowa.
In just 4 weeks, you will have the chance to render your verdict on the Democrats' outrageous conduct.
Referencing the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation fight.
Say it loud, say it clear. Kavanaugh's not welcome here.
Those are protesters outside the Supreme Court. Before Justice Kavanaugh heard his first case yesterday, Democrats hope losing that fight wins them more votes to take back control of Congress. A dramatic ending in baseball's playoffs. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. The Yankees trailing the rival Red Sox by 1 in New York.
Swung on, tapped down to third, slowly hit. Charging is Nunez. He fires to first. Stretch. Got him!
The final call on the Red Sox radio network. Boston won the game and won the series to advance to the next round against the Houston Astros. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy this morning, 73 degrees. It is 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Charges pending against a person of interest accused of crashing a stolen vehicle and injuring 3 on Chicago's near north side. Police say someone jumped into an unattended Mercedes last night near Oak and Rush, then drove off. The vehicle's owner tried to stop the carjacker and was briefly dragged. The thief sped off before hitting multiple parked cars, a person, and a cyclist. The owner of the Mercedes and the pedestrian were hospitalized in stable condition. 4 people are facing charges after 3 Chicago police officers were attacked on the south side. Authorities say police were arresting a person for spitting into an officer's face near 70th and Throop on Monday when another person came up and threw a piece of wood at the back of the officer's head. Officers then chased the person into a nearby home where other people locked the officers inside. The officers eventually got out. Several suspects were arrested. 3 officers were treated and then released from area hospitals. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra are on strike over contract issues. The musicians began picketing yesterday in front of the Civic Opera House on North Wacker. They cite a proposed elimination of 5 positions, a pay cut, and reduction of the number of working weeks as reasons for the work stoppage. As a result, several performances this week have been canceled. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is planning to fight a pending consent decree. It's all aimed at reforming the Chicago Police Department. Sessions announcing yesterday he would file a statement in federal court opposing the proposed court order, saying Chicago's agreement with the ACLU in 2015 undercut proactive policing in the city and led to a surge of murders. Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke is no longer in the Cook County Jail. Authorities say Van Dyke was transferred yesterday to the Rock Island County Jail for security reasons. The move comes 4 days after he was found guilty of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery in the death of Laquan McDonald. Van Dyke is due back in court October 31st. A 2-year-old Batavia girl is recovering in a Chicago hospital, diagnosed with a rare polio-like disease. Julia Payne is being treated for acute flaccid myelitis at the Lurie Children's Hospital. At first, the symptoms of that illness are similar to the common cold, but can escalate into muscle weakness, slurred speech, and paralysis. At least 6 children in Minnesota have also been diagnosed with that disease since mid-September. Governor Rauner is blaming illegal immigration for contributing, in part, to high crime and unemployment in Chicago.
One of the reasons we have such high unemployment in the city of Chicago and so much crime is the massive number of illegal immigrants here take jobs away from American citizens and Chicago citizens.
Okay. The Republican governor made that claim yesterday during a debate with Democrat challenger J.B. Pritzker before the Chicago Sun-Times editorial board. Sears Holdings could be filing for bankruptcy this week. Wall Street Journal reporting the Hoffman Estates-based company is preparing a bankruptcy bid to deal with its debt. The company has a $134 million payment due on Monday. One person is in custody after a pregnant mother of 4 was struck and killed by a pickup in suburban Streamwood. Police say Aries Cobian died after a pickup struck her and the car she and her cousin were pushing Monday night near East Lake Street and South Park Avenue. The truck driver was arrested. Right now, no charges have been filed. A construction worker is dead, another hurt, after a steel beam fell at a work site in Evanston. Police say crews working on a 9-story apartment building were using a crane to unload steel beams from a truck when the beam fell on 2 of those workers. Former pastor of a now-shuttered North Aurora church is going to prison for 14 years after he confessed to sexually assaulting an underage church member. Prosecutors say Raphael Robinson also failed to contact authorities of his new address as part of his sex offender status. Fans are snapping up more tickets this season for the first-place Bears. Tribune reports demand for Bears tickets is up 20% on StubHub. Compared to last year, the average price of a Bears ticket so far this season, $236. Family and friends are mourning the death of the first African-American player to be drafted by an NFL team. George Telefero died Monday in Mason, Ohio at the age of 91. The Gary, Indiana native was drafted by the Chicago Bears in round 13 of the 1949 draft, but never played for the team. Instead, he chose to play with the L.A. Dons of the All-American Football Conference. Bulls set to play the Pacers tonight at home in NBA preseason action. Blackhawks on the road tomorrow night to take on the Wild. Goalie Corey Crawford is on schedule to make his season debut next Thursday against the Coyotes. The news is a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio. 5:08 is our time, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
I used to post to job boards only to be overwhelmed with resumes,
which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was
not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-896-8155. 800-896-8155.
Optima Tax Relief.
If you listen to the station, you're probably up on the latest political news and know there's a midterm election soon. What you might not know is midterm elections tend to have a profound impact on the stock market and your investments. You can learn about it at TrumpMidterm.com. I'm Joe Lopresti, founder of the Investor Education Institute. We just completed a thorough study on midterm election years and found the stock market has remarkably consistent tendencies in these years. We summed up our findings in a new report you can get for no cost at TrumpMidterm.com. 2018 is fitting the mold of midterm election patterns. This report gave me tremendous insight and knowledge about the midterm's effect on stocks and can help you too. Go to TrumpMidterm.com and get a roadmap to help navigate your investments through the election and well into 2019. That's TrumpMidterm.com for your no-cost report. Learn about the midterm's effect on stocks at TrumpMidterm.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org.
It is 5:11. Get an update on the early morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
In Evanston, Emerson is closed between Benson and Sherman after the construction site incident which happened yesterday. Kennedy Expressway inbound overnight work is lifting at Cumberland. Express lanes are set to reopen on the inbound side. The exit to the outbound Eisenhower is about to reopen as well. Kennedy, the Eisenhower, no significant delays right now. The Stevenson is okay. So is the Ryan. There is road work again outbound, 87th to Split. About I-57, traffic is stop and go Holstead to the merge. 18 minutes I-80 to the Ryan. Bishop 421, delays 111th Stony Island feeder. Tri-State northbound, it's stop and go from Lawrence to the Adams Tollway. The other tollways are okay, northwest Indiana as well. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high 74. Tonight, mostly cloudy and cool, low 43. Sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, and cool tomorrow, high 50 and a low 34. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, breezy and not as warm as yesterday. 72 at O'Hare. Next news comes up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Lauren Cohn, star of stage and screen, reporter, on-air personality back in the day at WLS.
Still am. Filling in.
Oh, okay.
Every once in a while, but it's good to be with you.
Well, then I guess you're an on-air personality here, too, because you're filling in for us.
Yeah.
All right.
I make the rounds, Dan.
On-air, an ecumenical on-air personality, Lauren Cohn. Good to have you.
It's good to be with you.
All right. And so yesterday, President Trump continuing to rally the faithful around the country in advance of the midterm elections. He tells Iowa rally-goers that Democrats have gone full honey badger.
They want to destroy everything. That's all they're good at. Resisting. Their whole campaign is resist. Ours is to create. And in their lust for power, the Democrats have become totally unhinged. They've gone crazy. No, they've gone crazy.
Democrats don't give a shit. Yeah, so
you know what?
Full honey badger. Full honey badger. The Democrats have gone, according to President
Trump. That's all
Trump.
they've got left, Dan.
It's a continuation, and he's politically astute to do this. It's a way to continue hearkening back to the last 2.5 weeks leading up to Kavanaugh's confirmation this past weekend. You have to sustain that. Remember, these people are out of their minds. Remember, these are the people that you saw and watched during that Kavanaugh process, that you saw banging on the doors of the Supreme Court, that you saw engage in all kinds of histrionics during regular proceedings in the Senate. Remember those people when you go to the polls on November 6th.
Did you see just the video of what happened in Portland when there was a woman in a wheelchair, they were banging on cars? I mean, Hillary Clinton talks about civility, and what is going on when they feel that that's all they have left right now? I mean, just march, vote, rally, if you want to go run for office, but this has gotten out of hand.
Well, interesting, in Portland, did you see the Antifa goons? They actually took over directing traffic.
Yeah, right.
Portland police essentially ceded their turf to Antifa and stood down while Antifa was directing traffic and in other ways taking control of the streets. Now, Portland, thank goodness, is not representative of the country, certainly the battleground areas. But it's still sort of a bizarre sight to see, a troubling sight to see, I would say.
It's apparently a beautiful city. I've never been there, but people say it's really nice there. So it's a shame.
I watch Portlandia.
You do?
So I feel like I've been there, but that's as close as I'm
By the way, I just want to let you know that I saw today on Twitter that today is National Teddy Bear Day, and had I known that before I got there, I would have brought you a teddy bear. Because I thought with all this, lack of civility in the world, maybe you needed your own teddy bear.
I'll tell you who needs a teddy bear. I mean, you just mentioned it. Hillary Clinton sat down with Christina Amanpour to discuss the events of the last 3 weeks, and all of those calls for civility that you're accustomed to hear from the likes of Sack of Durban and so forth. Boy, they've been dispatched, but there's a way you can get the civility back. There's one way, and Hillary Clinton has it sussed out. So you want Democrats to be civil. You want them to act like adults. She has an out for you.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
All right.
But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength.
Oh, wait, so civility exists when the Democrats win.
We're so
close.
Is
that it?
We're so close to civil political discourse. We're just Democrat majorities away from civil discourse in this country. Who is willing to make that sacrifice on the altar of civility? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Yeah, just that close. We're just 23 seats away from Democrat civility. Again, that seems like such a reasonable deal. And listen to Hillary Clinton's description of a political party. See if you can identify it.
So when you're dealing with an ideological party that is driven by the lust for power, that is funded by corporate interests who want a government that does its bidding, it's hard. You can be civil, but you can't overcome what they intend to do unless you win elections.
Is she talking about the Democrats?
When she's going out on tour now with her husband, is she charging for it because she can't pay her mortgages like when she first ran for office?
She has a husband? Oh, right. They're still married. I forgot. But a party that's ideological, funded by big corporations, big corporate interests, has a lust for power. Huh. Which party fits that description? Which party from the conduct you've seen over the last 3 weeks would you suggest fits the description Hillary Clinton offered? I think she's learned
her
a little
own party.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's learned
But
a little trick from her friend Barack Obama about projecting.
You know, my favorite show on Wednesday nights is Survivor, and I don't want to ruin my favorite show, but maybe Hillary and Bill should go on Survivor and spend some time on Exile Island and just give us all a break.
I think Naked and Afraid would be better.
No, that is not something I want to watch, Dan.
Ed in Oak Brook.
That Democratic message that you guys are making fun of, and I make fun of it as well, is actually resonating with a lot of people where I work. And it just shocked me. They actually do believe that Kavanaugh actually assaulted that lady and is a serial rapist. They actually do believe that Trump is probably the biggest crook since cell phone. So they want him in jail so bad. They forget the stock market and all of the good numbers. They don't even care about those things. So that message is getting out there.
What industry what industry do you work at?
I'm in the finance industry.
Really? And do they find the people that don't like Trump and thought Kavanaugh was guilty or some such thing? Do they also defend the Democrats' conduct over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I never even got that far in the discussion since I was shouted down and we can't go there, and it shocked me to my core. And usually I could say things back, but I was just shocked. I just couldn't believe it that I was standing there alone listening to this, and it was guys and ladies as well. So I don't know what's going on, and I want to talk to them to see what am I missing. Why am I on this island by myself in this environment? But you can't talk to these people.
Let me offer this up to you. I don't know if the powers that be over there. We'll do a remote broadcast from your place of work and see if we can't have a civil, little confab discussion with all you and your coworkers. We'll do like an Anderson Cooper town hall. What do you think?
Well, bring security and donuts probably, but it probably wouldn't fly.
All right, thanks for the call. Security and donuts.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you own or run a business, here's some valuable information. Right now, it's a buyer's market for business and commercial insurance. This is Jim Solkowski of DSP Insurance Services in Schaumburg. It's a really good time to take a look at all your business insurance products. We handle it all with specialists in every field. With our new clients, we review all your products every 90 days. Why? Insurance products change constantly. Do you have the most competitive program? Has your business changed and you need to adjust your policies? Have rules and regulations changed? We even use a legal team to help with compliance. DSP is all about being your insurance partner, the one looking out for you and your business. DSP partners with Westfield Insurance and several other insurance carriers to protect your interests. Here's a common theme we hear from our customers.
For business insurance, DSP for me.
Business insurance? DSP for me.
Get the contact information at dspforme.com. Let's review your business insurance to make sure you're protected. dspforme.com.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, the #1 all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running. Don't miss their fall open house on Sunday, October 21st. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12, located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on October 21st. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Call 800-727-0433. That's 800-727-0433.
I used to post to job boards only to be overwhelmed with resumes.
Which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was
not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast, smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and just because summer's over doesn't mean it's too late to paint your home. You know, the new thing right now is painting kitchen and bathroom cabinets white. And CertaPro painters can do just that. Mine are gorgeous, and it really opens up the kitchen and bathroom. Their quality work and attention to detail is unmatched. And the cold weather will be here soon. Sorry for the buzzkill, but this is Chicago, and you know what happens every 3 or 4 months. So it's time to make sure the exterior of your home is protected from the elements. And you'll want the interior looking great for holiday parties with family and friends. Yes, that's right around the corner. So don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Lauren Cohen, and we were talking about Trump telling Iowa rally goers last night that the Democrats are too crazy to govern. They're out there eating cobras and bee larvae and everything else. They've gone full honey badger. Also, they're too dangerous to govern.
The Democrats have become too extreme, and they've become, frankly, too dangerous to govern. They've gone wacko.
Wacko. That is a medical term, Lauren. Alan on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Lauren. How are you?
Hello.
Morning.
Doesn't the Democratic Party, especially Hillary, understand what they sound like? They sound like a bunch of spoiled babies that if they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum. But if they do get their way, then they can act like adults once again.
Right, except we know, as nice an offer as it was that Hillary Clinton made, that civility will return if you give us congressional majorities, we know that when they are in charge, they run roughshod over people, because when they're not in charge, they run roughshod over people.
Right, they go back to bullying again once they're in charge, which is just so funny.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Alan. I promise this time I won't be a totalitarian. Chris in Plainfield.
Yeah, I just don't understand how people can see Democrats as bullies when you have a hate-filled, virulent, lying narcissist running the show that is essentially feeding the desire of Republican hate towards Democrats, seeking liberal tears. I don't understand how Republicans can't see that.
I'm sorry. So how Republicans can't see that Trump is stoking hatred of Democrats, so therefore it's okay for Democrats to, as Hillary Clinton offered, say civility's off the table unless you give us majorities. Is that your position?
I don't think she said civility is off the table.
Well, that's what she said.
Well,
should I replay it? Should I replay it? Once we win, then we can be civil. That's what she said.
Let's see. Can you play it?
Yeah. Stay tuned. And 3, 2, 1.
You cannot be civil with a political party that
Cannot
wants
be civil.
to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only thing that the...
until then.
So Dan, let me just quote Michelle Obama real quickly here, and don't get upset with me. But I'm saying, because they go low doesn't mean we go lower. We go high, and so just because you're making the argument that because you don't like the president and the way he behaves and his morality that he incites anger doesn't mean Democrats have to go lower when they threaten senators and threaten people and want to be. It's one thing to march, it's one thing to speak your mind, it's one thing to say let's get out and vote or run for office. It's another thing to incite violence against other people and punch other people, and I think that's the point.
But you do realize Trump has incited violence constantly throughout his campaign and advocated that in a more direct manner. Now, Clinton is obviously going down the same path now with this type of rhetoric, not quite as far as Trump has. But it is. Civility is off the table, and you have a propagandized, conspiracy theory-ridden Republican fascist push, essentially, that we're up against.
You sound like a guy really interested in civility there, Chris. Thanks for the call. When we're up against a conspiracy fascist Republican Party, hey, let's be civil. Yeah, it's a nice little turn that Democrats do where they call you a Nazi and then demand civility. Sorry, it's just not very persuasive. And frankly, Trump, who is a blunt instrument, and I'm the first one to concede that, one of the things he's done is expose Democrats for who they really are. And he has made the projection that Democrats do, like Hillary did in that interview with Amanpour, very transparent, very unpersuasive, very hypocritical. And so that's the problem Democrats have. And it's one of the reasons that even if you have qualms about Trump, even if you have qualms about Kavanaugh, independents, self-identified independents, plus 28, or better way to say it, minus 28 in terms of how Democrats handled the Kavanaugh confirmation hearing. They saw the senator's performance, they saw the professional protesters as well as the organic protesters' conduct. They didn't like it. 58-30 independents disapproved the way Democrats handled the confirmation hearing. So I hate to break it to you, Chris, but you're in an insular minority in the super minority party in this country. All right, coming up at 5:38, Nikki Haley departs. Who will backfill her position as U.S. Ambassador to the UN? We'll discuss after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
72 degrees, skies are cloudy. An extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane bearing down on the Florida Panhandle. The National Hurricane Center says Michael now has maximum sustained winds of 140 miles an hour and is around 100 miles southwest of Panama City, Florida, where Dennis Gill says they're now taking the threat seriously.
Hermine was the big one. The town itself sustained a lot of damage. There was about an 8-foot storm surge that came through, and it ruined a lot of businesses, a lot of buildings.
So Gill says lots of folks are beginning to stream out of town ahead of the hurricane-force winds and heavy rainfall. Some of the floating oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico were moved to get out of the way of Hurricane Michael. Others were evacuated. Nearly a fifth of oil production in the Gulf has been shut down. President Trump says Democrats will end ethanol if they gain power in the coming midterm elections. The president promoted his new pro-ethanol plan at a rally in Iowa Tuesday night.
My administration is protecting ethanol. Today, we are unleashing the power of E15 to fuel our country all year long.
Ethanol mixed fuel is currently banned during the summer months. Some fear it contributes to air pollution. President Trump's daughter says no, she will not replace Nikki Haley as U.S. UN ambassador. Ivanka Trump rejected talk that she could step into that role after Haley yesterday announced plans to exit at the end of the year.
Very special to me. She's done an incredible job. She's a fantastic person, very importantly, but she also is somebody that gets it.
Haley said she will not run for president in 2020 and will be backing Trump's re-election bid. You may not hear the name of this store very much longer. Sears Holdings could be filing for bankruptcy this week. Wall Street Journal reports the company is preparing a bankruptcy bid to deal with debt. The company has a $134 million payment due on Monday, and there may not be more for your life at Sears in the near future. Charges are pending against a person accused of crashing a stolen vehicle and injuring 3 on Chicago's near north side. Police say someone jumped into an unattended Mercedes last night near Oak and Rush and drove off. The owner of that Mercedes and the pedestrian were later hospitalized in stable condition. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra are on strike over contract issues. The musicians began picketing yesterday in front of the Civic Opera House on North Wacker Drive. Chicago sports last night, quiet night in the area. The Bulls were back on the hard court preparing to play the Pacers tonight at home, while the Blackhawks will be on the road tomorrow night to take on the Wild. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, young people across the world face a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. See how you can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:34. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher warns it's not time to rest on our laurels.
Judge Kavanaugh, and in particular President Trump, won the battle with Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation. The last thing you can do now is breathe a sigh of relief and say, good, we got this major battle won. We don't need to go to the polls in a few weeks. We can stay home.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
So here's a story that may sound familiar. I used to post to several job boards, only to be overwhelmed with tons of the wrong resumes.
And because there were so many resumes,
It was tough to separate the great candidates from those who weren't the best fit. I mean, it's not easy to find the right person for
my wineries,
my sports medicine business,
our global PR agencies.
That old process was definitely
not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring.
ZipRecruiter did the work for me. Their powerful matching technology scanned thousands of resumes to identify people with the right skills, education, and experience for my job.
And actively invited them to apply.
So I got qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try ZipRecruiter now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
You remember a simpler time when family fun was about having fun. It didn't include the kids glued to their tablets or smartphones. Well, real family fun is back at Gobert's Pumpkin Patch. For almost 70 years, Gobert's has been Chicagoland's family destination for fall fun.
This was the most fun day ever. My parents were there, my kids were there. There was a pumpkin patch, a maze, a haunted house, slides, a train, a fresh market, and there was so much more. I loved it.
It's a family tradition for us to visit Gobert's every October. The pumpkins are great, the attractions are fun, and the apple cider donuts are to die for.
Loved it. One price to get in, and almost all the activities were free. My kids had a blast.
Listen to the kids.
My mom loves the homemade caramel apples.
I have to say, the pumpkin cannon is cool.
They got a pumpkin-eating dinosaur. The live giraffe is really cool.
I love the jumping pillow and the Pumpkin Express train ride.
Gobert's Pumpkin Patch in Pingree Grove. Pick apples, explore the pumpkin patch, play games, ride the train. Gobert'sPumpkinPatch.com. Harvesting family memories.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 5:37 and a check on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
In Evanston, Emerson remains blocked between Benson and Sherman after Tuesday's construction incident. Seeing delays now on the inbound Stevenson Expressway from before Cicero to Kedzie. About 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 5 at 34. The Edens is good. No delays to report on the Kennedy. Reversibles are open inbound. On Eisenhower, just a touch of congestion east of 25th Avenue. Inbound Ryan, it's stop and go from Canalport to the Burns Circle. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the Burns Bishopport, 24. Delays 115th to Stony Island. No delays to report now on the Tri-State. It's cleared up. The other tollways are looking good. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Breezy, not as warm today. We'll have some periods of rain and a thunderstorm, a high of 74. Cloudy, cooler, 43 overnight. 72 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't miss David Clark and James O'Keefe at Freedom Summit 2018. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy J. this morning is Lauren Cohen. You remember her.
So good to be with you, my friend.
She was an innovator.
I was?
Yeah. Not necessarily at WLS.
Oh, you're going way back to the TV days.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm going to say,
yes,
right?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Where I always make fun of you because you did the 10.
Yeah, you need a
on
new
Fox
line.
Chicago. And the innovation and doing the news. Mike Scott, listen up. You should consider this. She was a pioneer.
He loves this. He loves
She
this.
read the news standing up.
This is when we launched the 10 o'clock news to come after the 9 at Fox.
Yeah.
And we were standing up.
And the difference between the 10 and the 9 is that you were standing up.
Because clearly he didn't listen to the content of the show. It was just more the cosmetics, that we did a completely different show that, was a little bit like talk radio, where we actually had thought process and story behind the story and guests giving analysis.
I just remember the standing up.
That's all you saw.
Yeah.
You need to come up with something better.
No.
Come at me with something better.
Come up.
I can't. Can't do it.
No, well, not everybody can do it.
How about the first time we ever hosted radio together? And you forgot my name on the air.
Your name again, and you are.
That's what I did this morning when she was knocking on the door.
It's okay.
I'm like, and you
Security.
are?
And who are
Security.
you? How quickly they forget,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, by
That's
the way.
okay.
Public apology.
I like to fly under the radar.
You're on top of Chicago media, reading the news, standing up one day, and the next day you can't even get in here.
That's right.
That's how quickly it turns.
And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
It's a fickle business. Also seeing the exit door of her own volition. Happy event. Nikki Haley leaving at the end of the year to as the U.S. ambassador to the UN. And it was an interesting choice that Trump made, I think a good choice, to do a little presser, a little sit-down. They didn't do it standing up. They did a sit-down presser.
He likes to do the sit-downs. I've noticed that no matter who he has in the sitting room. Was that called the sitting room?
Well, they're sitting.
Where the wallpaper is behind that matches the color of his hair.
Those sort of yellow wingback chairs of sorts. Is that what they're called?
He enjoys the
chairs?
sit-downs.
Yeah. Well, so, but bringing her out rather than just issuing a statement and then effing everybody trying to interpret what's actually going on, which, of course, the D.C. press corps did anyway.
How about that he kept it a secret?
In advance of their respective agendas.
When has he ever kept a secret like that? He knew for a long time.
Well, right. He said that this had been, 6 months in the making, that she had sort of said after 2 years, I kind of want to take a break. And we'll speculate on her future in a moment, but let's talk about her past in terms of her job performance. President Trump was, over the moon about Nikki Haley and the job that she did as U.S. ambassador to the UN.
It's been really a long time, very intense, and she told me probably 6 months ago, she said, maybe at the end of the year, at the end of a 2-year period, but the end of the year, I want to take a little time off. I want to take a little break. She's done a fantastic job, and we've done a fantastic job together. We've solved a lot of problems, and we're in the process of solving a lot of problems. At the beginning, North Korea was a massive problem, and now we're moving along. It's moving along really nicely. I can speak for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He thinks the world of Nikki, and so we're all happy for you in one way, but we hate to lose. Hopefully you'll be coming back at some point, but you want to just in maybe a different capacity. You can have your pick. At the end of the year, Nikki will be leaving, and we'll be in constant touch. I know that. Whenever you have any ideas, you're going to call me because you know all the players.
You can maybe come back in another capacity. You can have your pick, and then she said president. But not till 2024 because she's backing him in 2020. She was clear on that. It's before we get to what Nikki Haley had to say, because it's definitely a mutual admiration society, at least publicly. A lot of suggestion that maybe she was being marginalized by Pompeo and Bolton, who are more hard-edged when it comes to America Firstism and so forth. That didn't come across at all in either the president's remarks or, more importantly, hers.
Look at the 2 years. Look at what has happened in 2 years with the United States on foreign policy. Now the United States is respected. Countries may not like what we do, but they respect what we do. They know that if we say we're going to do something, we follow it through, and the president proved that, whether it was with the chemical weapons in Syria, whether it's with NATO, saying that other countries have to pay their share. Whether it's the trade deals, which have been amazing. They get that the president means business, and they follow through with that. But then if you look at just these 2 years at the UN, we've cut $1.3 billion in the UN's budget. We've made it stronger. We've made it more efficient. South Sudan, we got an arms embargo, which was a long time coming. 3 North Korean sanctions packages, which were the largest in a generation, done in a way that we could really work towards denuclearizing North Korea. The Iran deal, bringing attention to the world that every country needs to understand. You can't overlook all of the bad things they're doing. You have to see them for the threat that they are. I think you look at the anti-Israel bias and the strength and courage that the president showed in moving the embassy and showing the rest of the world, we will put our embassy where we want to put our embassy. You know, all of those things have made a huge difference in the U.S. standing, but I can tell you that the U.S. is strong again, and the U.S. is strong in a way that should make all Americans very proud.
Yeah, that was a pretty good 90-second summary of the last 2 years and the Trump administration accomplishments, or at least progress made in a number of fronts. And the other thing that she said, sort of the key phrase, is that people respect America again. They may not like everything we do, but they respect us. Do you agree that over the last 2 years, do you agree with Nikki Haley's formulation that that's what's happened over the last 2 years, coming off the President Obama administration, where we seem to genuflect before our enemies, facilitate their interests, see the Iran deal, at the expense of our own? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Your reaction to what Nikki Haley had to say about her time and their accomplishments.
I think it was a great summary, and I think we can't forget, everybody was always so panicked about North Korea. Let's not forget North Korea. And I don't think we're all sitting here every day wondering, maybe not trust North Korea, but we're not in the panic state. And
the missile tests have stopped, for example.
Exactly, right. And so I think in addition to that and joining the sort of attacks on Iran, and that we're not really going to just, cower to Iran. And you talked a little bit about President Obama. He was very disengaged on foreign policy. And I think, Nikki Haley has carried out what the president wanted while also making it clear, like, when I'm going to call him out or I'm going to disagree with him, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to disagree with him. And she was able to do that. So I think she was pretty impressive, and I'm sad to see her go. In terms of the speculation, Dan, she did serve longer in that post than others have before her.
Sure,
if I remember.
Yeah, correctly. I mean, that's this whole it's the kind of new Trump standard for anybody that leaves the White House is the whole place is in some kind of chaotic state. I mean, and in these kind of high-profile, high-pressure positions, people come and go all the time. Sometimes of their own volition, and sometimes not. But changing out chiefs of staff or changing out cabinet officers or changing out senior advisory personnel is not uncommon. The interesting thing, too, now into the speculation, not only about who replaces her, but what Nikki Haley's future is. Some speculation, remember after the general election, after the midterms, Jeff Sessions is going to go. You slot Lindsey Graham in as AG, and you make Nikki Haley the senator from
Although Graham
South
has said he
Carolina.
doesn't want it. He thinks he's going to be more productive, as a senator.
Well, that's true. That's what he said. Nikki Haley also said, I'm not running for anything in 2020. The words are very specific. You have to parse politicians' words when you talk about other offices that they secretly want. So, Nikki Haley, I'm not running in 2020. I'm not saying anything about 24. Lindsey Graham, I don't want that. Oh, but if the president came to me and said, Lindsey, we need you to be Attorney General, I didn't want it. But when the president comes to you and he makes a request like this, you say yes to the president of the United States. I mean, you could certainly hear Lindsey Graham, an attorney, right, modifying the statement he's made, suggesting he's not interested to take the position if offered. And that would be interesting.
We've certainly seen an outspoken Lindsey Graham lately, certainly during the Kavanaugh hearings. I mean, it was like his blood was boiling over, and he was making a good statement. And then after Jeff Flake basically cut the deal with Coons to move the nomination forward, but to have the FBI probe, you saw him in the hallway right after saying, oh, great, now I'm going to have to be the one to go tell Trump. So we'll see.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. Sometimes, even with politicians, I know we often don't look at politicians like human beings because most of them don't deserve to be treated like human beings because they don't act like human beings themselves. But sometimes it's just simple things why people leave and don't come back, or leave and then come back when they address something that they want to address in their lives. For Nikki Haley, if she wants to run for president of the United States, and I think she has afforded herself very well as U.S. ambassador to UN, I think she certainly could be the first female president of the United States. I think she's proven she has the chops. It could be financial. Washington Examiner had a good piece just making the point that according to her financial disclosure reports that she's required to file, she had up to $1 million in debt in 2017, between $525 to $1 million in debt, according to a local South Carolina paper with respect to her sort of net worth and financial position. So one thing it could simply be, honestly, I'm not saying it is because there's always palace intrigue, but it could just be, if I want to run for president, I need to be more financially stable. I'm never going to be a billionaire. Okay, fine. You don't need to be. But I want to. I don't want to be in this precarious financial position I'm in right now. So I'm going to go make money for a couple of years, and then I'll come back to public service, or try to come back to public service, or maybe look for another role in the Trump administration and a possible second term or whatever. Sometimes it is just about kind of taking care of the things that most regular Americans focus on taking care of too, which is your household.
Well, and a lot of the publications are guessing, like The Hill had the story about the government watchdog group looking into flights that she took. But there's always going to be stories out there like that as people try and figure out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Like, did she really not get along with Bolton, or did she really not get along with President Trump? And this is optics, and a lot of journalists hate when you use the word optics, but people are going to try and throw that narrative in there.
I think Nikki Haley really poured water on that flame of an idea in the D.C. press corps that this is just papering over some tension between the two of them. It seems to me, even when there were some disagreements, and there rarely were publicly between her and the president, modest ones on the communication about Russia, for example. But it seems to me they have a pretty good relationship. I mean, it just strikes me that way. So I don't think that's it. And I think Nikki Haley is a shrewd political operator too. Make no question about it. Stephen and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Hey, I think Nikki Haley made a good base. You had Tillerson, and until there was tension there between he and the president, but she basically held it all down, and until Mike Pompeo and Ms. Bolton came along. It just seemed to take off from there. So I think they'd make a good trio, and I do wish her well. And I'd vote for her for president down the road. Definitely consider it. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Candace and DuPage.
Hi. Good morning. I was worried when I heard her announcement because, and you had a really good point, Dan. I think it is personal for her as well. But I'm so worried because it seems like I don't like to say this, but it seems like because we are the last bastion of freedom, and even Europe is going to the dark, in my opinion, I just feel like the long knives are out everywhere. And she obviously didn't want to be like Hillary, doing this for 4 years and be completely exhausted. I mean, she's got a family and all that. But I do worry that, with China killing 20 of our CIA people, now Interpol guys disappear. I just feel like the long knives are out for the country, especially since Europe has Merkel as a leader, and I worry, it scares me a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Candace. I mean, and those that have been, some of the names being bandied about to replace her. I'm in Hugh Hewitt's camp on this one. I like Richard Grenell, the U.S. ambassador to Germany, who previously had a stint as the mouthpiece for our delegation at the UN. I'm a little skeptical of Dina Powell, who's the name that's being rumored as perhaps the favorite to replace Nikki Haley, if for no other reason than she's a Goldman Sachs person.
Former Trump advisor.
In the NSA, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I like Grinnell. Mike in Bolingbrook.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point. I can't agree with you guys more. I thought she was very, very professional. The little bit of disagreements that she had with Trump was dealt with very well as far as in the media. I mean, she said what she had to say on the world stage. And I want to point out one thing, though. All the leaks and all the rumors about, like, the chief of staff are arguing and blah, blah, blah. I think this may prove one thing, that the leakers and some of the information that gets out of the White House has been nipped in the butt. This
Yeah.
was a surprise. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, you're right about that, Mike. Yeah, that's a good
was-
point. Thanks for the call about maybe plugging up some of the leaks, and also, as we find out, sometimes leaked information is also inaccurate information. But don't tell that to CNN or the New York Times. One name rumored to possibly replace Nikki Haley who's taken herself out of the running, Ivanka Trump.
Nice dresser.
She is.
That's about it.
There's no question about it.
I think that was a good move.
By Ivanka?
Yes.
I agree with you. I also think, Nikki Haley actually has some very nice things to say about Jared. That's Ivanka's
They were very helpful and everything. And
ex machina's husband.
Right,
Jared. Well, she said more than that Kushner was helpful, that he actually has some skills in this arena, that he was, beyond, not like helpful like he got me tea. He was like helpful in, for example, the massaging of the UN when we moved the embassy to Jerusalem and other such matters. But I mean, this voice as the U.S. ambassador to the UN, this voice representing us on the international stage, I just don't know if I could stomach Jarrett.
Well, it's kind of nice to be here. We seem to have people of all ages.
I mean, could that voice
It's awful.
the UN?
That's a little bit like Taylor Swift's voice to me, but that's a whole other story.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I used to post to job boards only to be overwhelmed with resumes.
Which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was
Not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people.
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-896-8155. 800-896-8155.
Optima Tax Relief.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call
Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The Florida Panhandle has never been hit with a storm like this. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
If you don't follow the warnings from these officials, the storm could kill you.
Governor Rick Scott, nearly 400,000 people have been urged or ordered to evacuate. Hurricane Michael has 140-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Could get even stronger before hitting later today. The outer bands already coming ashore. Fox's Griff Jenkins is in Alligator Point, where he says homes can be washed away.
Because the combination of unprecedented and possible 12 to 14-foot storm surge, along with the miles and miles, upwards of 40, 50, 60 miles of shallow water in the Gulf behind us, washing into this area with a Cat 4 storm.
Also, there could be a foot of rain in the Florida Panhandle as the storm comes across. Who will replace Nikki Haley as U.S. ambassador to the UN? That's a big question the day after her surprise announcement. She'll be gone by the end of the year. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, there are 5 people on the president's short list. Among them, Dina Powell, a Goldman Sachs executive and former deputy national security advisor. The president also mentioned he would consider Rick Grinnell, the current U.S. ambassador to Germany, but he'd like to keep him where he is. President Trump shut down speculation about his daughter, Ivanka Trump.
I think Ivanka would be incredible. That doesn't mean I'd pick her because you'd be accused of nepotism.
For her part, Ivanka tweeted, "I know that the president will nominate a formidable replacement for Ambassador Haley. That replacement will not be me." Dave.
Rachel, President Trump campaigned in Iowa last night.
You don't hand matches to an arsonist, and you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob, and that's what the Democrats have become.
But Hillary Clinton told CNN,
"You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about."
This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 72 degrees. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Charges are pending against a person who was accused of crashing a stolen vehicle and injuring 3 on Chicago's near north side. It happened last night near Oak and Rush. The owner of a Mercedes and a pedestrian have been hospitalized in stable condition, while the cyclist that was struck was treated at the scene for non-life-threatening injuries. 4 are facing charges after 3 Chicago police officers were attacked on the south side. Authorities say police were arresting a person near 70th and Throop on Monday when another person came up and threw a piece of wood at the back of that officer's head. Officers then chased down the person into a nearby home. Others locked the police officers inside. Officers eventually got out. Several suspects were arrested and detained. 3 officers treated and released from the hospital. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra are on strike over contract issues. As a result, several performances this week have been canceled. Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke is no longer at the Cook County Jail. Authorities say Van Dyke, for his own safety, was transferred yesterday to the Rock Island County Jail. A 2-year-old Batavia girl is recovering in a Chicago hospital after she was diagnosed with a rare polio-like disease. Julia Payne is being treated for acute flaccid myelitis at the Lurie Children's Hospital. The symptoms of the illness are similar to the common cold but escalate quickly into muscle weakness and paralysis. At least 6 children in Minnesota have been diagnosed with that disease since mid-September. The Bulls are set to play the Pacers tonight at home in preseason NBA action. Corey Crawford is on schedule to make his season debut next Thursday against the Coyotes, while the Blackhawks will be on the road tomorrow night taking on the Wild. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a shaky foundation.
Now that there's irrefutable and incontrovertible evidence that it's the highest-ranking members of the FBI and DOJ that are involved in nefarious activities and abuse of power to prevent one person from becoming president, the house of cards is beginning to tumble.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
You remember a simpler time when family fun was about having fun. It didn't include the kids glued to their tablets or smartphones. Well, real family fun is back at Gobert's Pumpkin Patch. For almost 70 years, Gobert's has been Chicagoland's family destination for fall fun.
This was the most fun day ever. My parents were there, my kids were there. There was a pumpkin patch, a maze, a haunted house, slides, a train, a fresh market, and there was so much more. I loved it.
It's a family tradition for us to visit Gobert's every October. The pumpkins are great, the attractions are fun, and the apple cider donuts are to die for.
Loved it. One price to get in, and almost all the activities were free. My kids had a blast.
Listen to the kids.
My mom loves the homemade caramel apples.
I have to say, the pumpkin cannon is cool.
They got a pumpkin-eating dinosaur. The live giraffe is really cool.
I love the jumping pillow and the Pumpkin Express train ride.
Gobert's Pumpkin Patch in Pingree Grove. Pick apples, explore the pumpkin patch, play games, ride the train. Gobert'sPumpkinPatch.com. Harvesting family memories.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
6:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy Expressway traffic is heavy from 190 to Central and from the Hubbard Tunnel to the Burns Circle. It's 25 minutes, so here to downtown. Outbound 20. The Edens is looking good. The Spur has eastbound delays to the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Inbound Eisenhower, so Wolf to 17th, First Avenue to Harlem, and California Circle. 38 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Mount Stevenson heavy, 355 Lamont Road and Harlem to Kedzie. 52 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 34. Mount Orion, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to Converge, Bishop 426. Westbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower and from the Grand Avenue curve to Lawrence. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Temperatures falling into the lower 70s by evening from a high today of 74. Mostly cloudy and cooler for the night tonight with a low of 43. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 72 at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Lauren C., Lauren Cohen.
You know her from radio and television, as a journalist, as a commentator, reporter. Anything else I'm missing?
Host, anchor, it's all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
We just all say the same
It's
thing.
all the same.
We all have the same hair,
same
makeup,
titles. Yeah.
Same titles.
All right, so it was Brett Kavanaugh's first day at work yesterday. He got the ceremonial spanking from the other 8 Supreme Court justices, the paddling, although Clarence Thomas had to hold Ruth Bader Ginsburg's paddle because she doesn't have the strength. It's difficult with those mittens on, too. And Kavanaugh got right to it, asked a couple of questions about cases involving extended sentences for repeat offenders and other such things. And outside, though, and on Twitter, the protests against Kavanaugh continued. Did you see the tweet from this Google executive?
Nasty.
David Hogue? Hogue? Which one is it? H-O-G-U-E. How do you pronounce that?
Just forget the last 3 letters, Dan. I don't know.
All right. You are finished, GOP. You polished the final nail for your own coffins. F you all to hell. Tweeted Mr. Hogue. He then deleted it.
It's funny that a Google executive would delete something and assume that it's still not out there.
True. That is ironic. He's not tech savvy, this guy.
He's an IT guy, though, right?
So he deleted that tweet, and then he added this tweet. I hope the last images burned into your slimy, evil, treasonous retinas are millions of women laughing and clapping and celebrating as your souls descend into the flames.
Did he have his morning coffee?
Then he deleted that one. Then he confirmed that he deleted the tweets when he was caught red-handed.
But they didn't fire him, right?
No. Gosh,
of course not.
At Google? I mean, it's the other thing that's ironic, not only that he doesn't realize that his deleted tweets can be captured, but also that Google is sort of under more scrutiny than ever because of the James Damore memo and firing, because of the video that surfaced a couple of weeks ago that we analyzed in depth here with Larry Page and Sergey Brin and all of the Google executives assembling for this company-wide cry fest after Trump was elected back in November of 2016, and just what they revealed about themselves and their, frankly, intolerance for intellectual diversity, their unwillingness to consider that somebody might have a point of view that's not their own.
Well, and that's the whole problem with this. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to say, I don't like this. I'm not happy with this. But again, we're back to this lack of civility and the nastiness and the hatred.
Oh, yeah, civility.
It's just out of control.
All right, so David Hogue, he said, yes, I deleted that tweet. Yes, those opinions are mine personally, and I'm responsible for them. Yes, I should have been more eloquent and less condemning. Yes, I still believe the GOP is wrong and not serving your best interests. Yes, I still believe we can do much better.
Think before you tweet.
Not much of an apology there. Yeah. So that's Hogue, and civility is the watchword that is being dismissed by the left. Peter Beinart in the Atlantic writes about how civility is overblown in terms of its importance, and of course Hilldog made an indecent proposal in her interview with Christiane Amanpour yesterday, where she said, "Look, civility can return as soon as you return us to power."
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, can I just say that yes, Republicans respect strength. Why not? They stood up and they've been strong. But what she's saying is that it's okay to be uncivil until we win. So go out there and get in people's faces and send, death threats. And by the way, this is on both sides. I mean, you've had death threats to Professor Ford, and she can't live in her home. You've had death threats to Judge Kavanaugh, and they're going to continue.
Yeah.
These people's lives are changed forever.
No, but you understand the death threats directed towards the Kavanaugh family, those are fine. The political cartoons directed at Kavanaugh's daughter, those are fine. Attacking a United States senator while he's cutting his lawn and sending him to the hospital, that's fine. Opening fire on GOP softball practice, that's fine. Now, death threats to Blasey Ford, whoa. Now, a Trump impersonation or ad hominem attack, hey, civility. It's very one-sided, and I understand why Hillary is finger-wagging Republicans, not the deplorables, because she knows she can't get them because they're willing to take up the fight. But she's wagging her finger at Republican politicians because, frankly, the left is used to seeing them surrender when in the face of a finger wag.
That's why when you said strength, I was like, yeah, they were strong.
Yeah, that's this is new. Republicans actually standing and fighting, and obviously Trump gets a lot of credit for it in this instance with Kavanaugh. So does the Republican leadership in the Senate. But I mean, we see it here too. You can understand their surprise, the surprise of the left, when they don't see Republican politicians descend into puddles of tears and immediately turn and head to the hills in the face of criticism or suggestions that they may be suffering from a particular ism or phobia that only the left can define and is only properly attributed to Republicans. They're used to capitulation. They didn't get it here, and they're a little out of sorts.
Do the Democrats really think that Hillary Clinton should be the face right now of all of this? If you're going to try to get somebody out there to rally everybody up, and we see this, it's not surprising. There's a blue wave, and Democrats are rallied up, so are Republicans, and they're going to be through the midterms. But
I don't think there's a blue wave.
But do they really want Hillary Clinton to be their person out there as their spokesperson?
Well, probably not, but, I mean...
Isn't there anybody else?
Well, Michael Avenatti. I mean, he's available.
He's an upstanding citizen.
And, I mean, talk about the perfect,
Storm.
perfect candidate for the Me Too movement, right? Michael Avenatti. His heroics.
I just don't think Hillary Clinton helps their narrative.
Don't tell Hillary Clinton that, and don't tell me that because I want her to be the nominee. I think one more time. Third time is the charm, Hillary. One more. Come on. Give us one more. Give it one more chance. I shouldn't say give us. I'm sort of telegraphing why I wanted to run.
I'm moving to Fiji just to pick flowers for the rest of my life.
I like it. Here's the a lot of post-mortem on this Kavanaugh thing, too, even though the protests continue. I have not let my subscription to the Yale Daily News run out, so I read their school newspaper. Law school organizers reflect and plan post-Kavanaugh. I mean, these are our future leaders, the Yale law students. So I want to know what they're thinking now, don't you?
Well, is he still? So what happened with him? He's not allowed to teach at Harvard Law School.
Well, he's not. It's not. He's not allowed. Is that class has got canceled?
Okay, so they didn't change their mind, like flip flop back on that the way the Bar Association did.
No.
He's still standing, and is he allowed to coach basketball ever again?
As far as I know,
No.
he is allowed to coach basketball.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't heard of a formal ruling from the from the CYO league, but
let me know when you do, though, Dan.
Yeah. Now to Yale law students. Now listen up, because these are your betters. I know they're in their 20s, but they're better than you, and they're going to lord over you. So listen to what they're saying and act accordingly. John Gonzalez, he's scheduled for graduation in 20. In terms of next steps, Yale law students demanding better. That's their little group they put together. This is a little student group. Yale law students demanding better is working to create more avenues for student input and administrative decisions, and is having an open meeting this week to rethink how we can use our position at this elite institution for the betterment of all. There's not an original thought in his pretty little head. Gonzalez also said that Yale law students demanding better is channeling their energy into a quote-unquote new phase of advocacy. Mary Ella Simmons, Law 20, said students need to take a step back, re-examine the diversity within the group and how active they will be in the future. She pointed out that this was hastily organized, and so they didn't have a time in the moment to address the diversity of the Yale law students demanding better group. So now, in this post-Kavanaugh interregnum, they're going to be able to really examine the composition of the group from your identity perspective to make sure it's representative of the larger
You lost me
Yale
at Yale Law Group.
Yeah. Brianna Clark, she's another member of the group. Moving forward, it's important for students to learn how to use the, quote, power and privilege, unquote, they gain by attending the university. Yeah. Thank you, Brianna. Here's one thing we could do as a society. Not confer as much power and privilege to Yale Law School graduates or Ivy League graduates generally, regardless of whether they attend any of the particular law schools or not. I thought the navel gazing is just something to behold. It really is.
Let them be reflective, Dan. They're young.
There's more reflection going on.
It's important for the betterment. Isn't that what you said? The betterment of something.
Yeah, make the world a better place. Kind of, give the
It's too
world a
far
Coke and a
gone.
smile.
You
Teach the
know,
world to sing.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, these guys should be writing jingles for ad agencies. They shouldn't be practicing law. Honestly, not a original, interesting thought in their privileged little heads. And I'm not saying they're privileged. They're saying they're privileged. Jennifer Weiner in the New York Times has another thought-provoking piece. How do I explain Justice Kavanaugh to my daughters? How? So many beer emojis, the gloating over the weekend. What am I supposed to tell my daughters about all of this? Our girls will learn to police their clothes, their words, their drinking, their behavior, their choices because they've been watching, and what they've seen is this. If you get hurt, it's probably your fault. And if you tell, probably no one will believe you. And even if people believe you, probably nothing will happen. I already know what I'm telling my daughters, writes Miss Weiner. I've been talking to them about it for years. Be aware of your surroundings. Make sure someone knows where you are and when to expect you back. Don't drink too much. Don't put your drink down. Don't walk or run or bike the same route. Don't stay out too late. Don't walk alone in the dark. If a guy asks you out and you're not interested, don't hurt his feelings and don't laugh at him because a humiliated man is an angry man, and sometimes angry men hurt women.
Whoa.
Okay. Is that what you're telling your daughters? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is that how you were reared, Lauren?
I think it's important to have conversations with your children, and I think it's up to you in terms of your political views to address things with your children. But I would remind her that maybe you could also have the conversation with your daughters about presumed innocence. What kind of a country would we be without it, and due process? I think you have to, if you're going to have a conversation you feel strongly about, let's listen to people who are victims of sexual assault. Let's, understand what can happen between men and women. I don't know how young these kids are, but also explain to them that there's due process in this country and there's presumed innocence. And whatever may or may not have happened, whatever may or may not have happened to Professor Ford or alleged attacks against, Judge Kavanaugh, we have no corroboration in this, and there's presumed innocence. And if you throw away things like that, Dan, I don't know what we have left. And I'm not saying that something didn't happen to Professor Ford, because I think something did, and it's always that sort of difficult thing for sexual assault victims of a he said, she said, and then how do I prove it? And you want people to be able to feel comfortable to come out and be forward, but we have to focus on what happened here. And that's why I thought Senator Collins' speech was so methodical and so important when she weighed all the facts, that due process is so important.
Did you, is this the takeaway, though? Is this fair, Ms. Weiner's characterization that our girls from this incident will learn that if you get hurt, it's probably your fault, and if you tell, probably no one will believe you, and if people believe you, probably nothing will happen. Do you think that's the takeaway from the Kavanaugh saga?
I think that a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way, and that women.
I'm asking what a lot of people feel. A lot of people feel all kinds of things that are untrue. Do you think that is a legitimate takeaway from the Kavanaugh saga? Is that your takeaway?
I wouldn't say it's my takeaway, but I think it's a legitimate part of the conversation. Yes.
Frank in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes. I'm going to teach my daughter 3 things. Number 1, don't believe what you see and read. Get the facts and make your own decision. Number 2, self-defense. And number 3, get a conceal and carry because you are not going to be a victim, sweetie.
All right. Thanks, Frank. That's Frank's nice, succinct rejoinder to Jennifer Weiner in the New York Times. I don't know how to pronounce it. Could be either way. I don't know. Weiner. Spell the same. Could
or
be
a
Weiner.
whiner.
Could be Weiner.
She's a whiner.
Boy, it's misogynistic comment.
Sorry.
Jim in Tampa.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking the call. I think that it's remarkable that for a couple of centuries we would look at Yale law students as the future leaders, truly the future leaders, somebody to look up to listen to give respect to. Do you think they realize what a cartoon they are? And that here we are looking at them and just you can't do anything but laugh about what they're thinking and what they're saying. I think that's my point. The other thing, I think Nikki Haley's resignation is a power move for her career. I think she's on the way to something special.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jim. Victor Davis Hanson has a good piece at National Review about the Kavanaugh casualties. Yale, the Ivy League, one of them, I would suggest. Bill on the Northwest Side.
Hi. Good morning, Dan and Amy's replacement.
Lauren.
I just wanted to say that
she has a name, Bill.
Regarding Ms. Ford, when you talk about when you were talking earlier to that guy from Financial Services who said everyone in his office unanimously was such pro-Hillary, and he was shocked by it. And even your caller earlier in your show about you challenged him that he said that the Republicans were the ones causing trouble and being the monsters in this. And then you got to Hillary, who was talking about civility. These people are so deranged. It's possible that Ms. Ford is simply a Democratic operative, and she just made the whole story up, and she purposely left out the part about where she was, because if she left out that part, her story could not be corroborated.
Yeah.
And, people are making a big deal out of this about sexual assault and women not coming forward, and it's terrible not to respect them. Well, of course sexual assault is bad, and of course women won't come forward because they might be ashamed to or whatever. But this woman, Ms. Ford, she just might be a liar, and that's evidenced just by every Democrat's attitude.
All
They
right.
just are so holier than thou, and they're just not open to the possibility that she's lying.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Appreciate it. Jeff in Cal City.
Hello?
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, for the mother who had the question what to tell her daughter, well, what does she say about her daughter's own father? And if push comes to shove, just go gay.
Very good. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Sound advice. When in doubt, go gay.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke, and I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days, and 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. If I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now, I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
People have long associated the Ozinga name with concrete, but truth be told, Ozinga has always been on a quest to create a better world. We want to help you build your business so you can provide for your family, create better jobs, and build your community. It's why we constantly engineer better concrete, haul raw materials, and supply cleaner fuel. Together, we can positively impact the places where we live, work, and play throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, go to ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
Chicago has long been a hub of architectural innovation, and the future of Chicago building isn't stopping anytime soon. At Ozinga, we believe it's important to continue pushing the boundaries of the construction industry, but it can't be accomplished alone. Let's build this city with ingenuity, sustainability, and with heart. But more importantly, let's build this city together.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. We've all heard what the big banks have been doing. Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Great news, we have several new home mortgage programs. The first is a jumbo mortgage program that only requires a 15% down payment without any mortgage insurance. The second is a bank statement program which allows business owners and self-employed borrowers to finally qualify for a mortgage even if they don't show much income on their tax returns. Had a bankruptcy, short sale, or deed in lieu 12 months ago and want to purchase a new house? We have a program for you too. All programs have restrictions, so give me a call now at 312-896-2110. Remember, nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. I guarantee it. I own the company. That's 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 66229 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 6:36 is Spalding doing a good job of keeping Benedict Runner in the race. We'll discuss with Illinois GOP comptroller candidate Darlene Sanger. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
72 degrees, skies are cloudy, and look who's a Democrat again this morning. Mike Bloomberg is one step closer to running for president. Former New York City mayor announced on Instagram this morning he's officially a Democrat again. You may recall he was elected twice as a Republican beginning in 2001 before becoming an independent for his third term as mayor. Now at Category 4 strength, winds of 140 miles an hour, Hurricane Michael is a life-threatening storm set to make landfall along the Florida Panhandle.
140-mile-per-hour winds, peak gusts 170. Just try to grip that. The last time we gave a forecast like this for winds like this from a hurricane was Hurricane Charlie. That was over 13 years ago. I mean, this has stronger winds than what we dealt with last year with Harvey and with Irma.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen is keeping a close eye on Michael.
These types of disasters demand a response beyond what any one agency can handle. They simply require all hands on deck.
Storm watches warning states of emergency, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas still recovering from their own storm. President Trump campaigning hard for next month's midterms, but he's already attacking potential rivals in the 2020 presidential election.
But I don't want to knock too many of them because maybe by doing, I'll knock them all out early. And I'll actually end up somebody that's it's got some talent. That wouldn't be good. So we have to be nice and quiet. I should be really quiet, really quiet.
At a rally in Iowa, the president did attack a number of possible rivals, including Senators Warren of Massachusetts, Booker of New Jersey, and Blumenthal of Connecticut. The fiancé of a missing journalist is appealing to President Trump for help. Jamal Khashoggi is a Saudi journalist and a columnist for The Washington Post. He's also a critic of the Saudi regime and vanished after entering the Saudi consulate in Turkey October 2nd. 4 are facing charges after 3 Chicago police officers were attacked on the south side. Authorities say police were arresting one person near 70th and Throop when another came up and threw a piece of wood at the back of an officer's head. Officers eventually chased that person into a nearby home, but were locked inside. The officers got out. Several suspects were arrested. 3 officers were treated and released from the hospital. Governor Rauner blaming illegal immigration for contributing, in part, to high crime and unemployment in Chicago.
One of the reasons we have such high unemployment in the city of Chicago and so much crime is the massive number of illegal immigrants here take jobs away from American citizens and Chicago citizens.
The Republican governor made the claim yesterday during a debate with Democrat challenger J.B. Pritzker. Some Frontier Airlines passengers this morning have quite a story to tell about a 2-hour flight delay heading to Cleveland. Well, the flight was from Orlando and was put on hold last night when a passenger tried to bring a squirrel on board, claiming it was an emotional support animal. Police were eventually called to escort the woman off the plane when she refused to give up the rodent. Bulls are set to play the Pacers tonight at home in preseason action. Blackhawks will be on the road tomorrow night to take on the Wild. Even better news, goalie Corey Crawford on schedule to make his season debut next week. The news is a service of Unbound. Right now, young people across the world face a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's a fact. Workman's compensation is a mandated and burdensome expense for businesses. You've heard business owners on this station discuss the impact of workers' comp on their bottom line. This burden continues to grow every year. It's important that your company identify the risks you face and do everything possible to minimize your exposure and expense. For over 3 decades, Marty Spiegel and Miles Cahill, recent AM 560 Food for the Poor business benefactors, have effectively defended workers' comp cases on behalf of businesses and insurance companies in both Illinois and Indiana. All of the attorneys at Spiegel and Cahill understand and are sympathetic to the real burden your company faces. They excel at helping you identify and minimize your risks. The Spiegel-Cahill team is committed to being responsive and managing all of your workers' comp costs. To learn more or request a no-obligation workman's comp consultation, call Spiegel and Cahill at 630-455-4070, 630-455-4070, or visit defendingbusinesses.com. That's defendingbusinesses.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've been on it now. It's got to be close to 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
But I've never run out, and I like to have a little cushion if I want to double up. If I feel a little, like I need a little extra, I don't have to worry about being stingy with it. I'm 54 years old, but anyway, 9 years ago, almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years this December 6th. And I went to work one day. I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke right at work. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days in the brain trauma unit of the hospital in New Jersey. And the only reason they even tried to save my life was because I was 44 at the time. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. My body's been through a lot. And, I used to be in bed for most of the, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I'm talking to you now. I sound pretty wired. And I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better. And when I came home, I was on 17 medications, not 17 pills, 17 medications, maybe 40 pills a day. Now I'm down to 3 very, very, very low dose pills, and I'm hoping to get off of everything here. Where I was to what I am now, it's unbelievable. I'm so blessed. So you're speaking to literally a miracle.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane, a weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:38. Let's get an update on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In Grays Lake, a stalled train has 83 blocked between Peterson and 137, and 120 is blocked near 83 as well. Tri-State Tollway delays are northbound Harlem to the 83rd Street Toll from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis after the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Cadence is running 30 minutes now from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Inbound Kennedy, 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower's a 50-minute drive from 390 to downtown, outbound 34 minutes. Inbound Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 25. No problems to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, breezy, not as warm. We'll have some rain and maybe a thunderstorm later this afternoon, high 74. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J. this morning, Lauren Cohen.
That person, that caller said, that person.
The Amy J. replacement.
I'm the Amy J.
She
replacement.
has
Just
a
for
name,
today.
people.
Amy will be back.
Lauren, of course, you know her from Fox Chicago, from WLS, from stage. You've done some stage work.
I'd like to.
Some runway work.
I
You've
wish.
seen her all over the place.
I wish I've done some runway work. Not tall enough.
We've talked about federal elections and talked a lot about the Kavanaugh confirmation saga and the impact on the federal races with control of Congress hanging in the balance. President continuing to prosecute that case last night in Iowa. But it also, as we've mentioned over the last couple of days, and polling that I've done, so I know, has had an impact at the state and local level. It's also narrowed the enthusiasm deficit that Republicans face in Illinois. Now, there's still a deficit. And it's also turned a lot of independents off of Democrats. And there's all kinds of other reasons at the state level that independents should be turned off of Democrats, based on, I don't know, their performance in power over the last, say, half a century. But that hasn't seemed to be enough lately. So the question is, how can Republicans at the local level capitalize on some of the momentum that's been generated at the national level to perhaps offer some surprises and make some gains in terms of political office in this state? Well, one way is by exposing some of the same chicanery, self-dealing, a lack of integrity that the Democrats are practicing at the state and local level. And one such instance may be in the state comptroller's race. We'll explain to you what the comptroller's office actually is in a moment. But Susana Mendoza is the incumbent comptroller. And after Chuy Garcia, here's the intersection of the Chicago mayor's race, after Chuy Garcia announced that he's not going to run after all, he's just going to sit in that seat that El Gallito left for him. The question is, well, who's going to be the quote-unquote Latino candidate in the mayor's race, since there isn't a prominent one at this point? And so Mendoza's name has been rumored about a lot lately, and I assume that's mostly rumors being propagated by Mendoza. So do you want to vote for somebody at the statewide office who's just wants to get through one election so she can vacate and pursue another election?
Isn't that the Chicago way?
Well, it is, but I don't know. Maybe people are not so keen on that anymore. Don't tell Bill Daley. I don't know. And don't tell Susana Mendoza, apparently.
I feel like that's like the scenario with so many things, and yet people keep electing the same people, in Chicago and in the state. It never changes.
Well, I know. We have these elections.
Hand me a tissue, would you? Because I'm crying over
here. Well, look, we're having this election anyway. Right? It's going to happen anyway. So maybe if we do some things differently and we message properly and we frame the races in a compelling fashion, maybe people will decide that they've had enough of one party and, frankly, more or less one-man rule.
Hope, Dan.
Hope springs eternal. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Darlene Sanger. She is the Republican nominee for Illinois State Comptroller, and she's also a former state legislator in Illinois. Darlene, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
So you know the lay of the land as not just the candidate this time, but as somebody who served in the Illinois General Assembly. So explain to us what your opponent, Susana Mendoza, is doing and why that's important.
Well, what she's doing right now is that she's failing to commit to the people of Illinois to say, hey, if elected as comptroller, I'll serve you for 4 years. And, both sides of the aisle agree we are in a fiscal mess. I mean, there's no question at all, as you were just talking about, the same old with Democrats. There's been years of tax and spend. People are leaving the state. We have a lot of work to do, and Mendoza, which again is your typical style of Chicago politics, she won't commit that she's not running for mayor. In fact, right out of the gate after Rahm said he's not running, she was at City Club event and her question came up, and she pretty much said, I think I could be great in any job I do. I would never run for an office if I didn't think I was the best person for that office. Right now I'm running for comptroller. I don't even want to talk about the mayor's race, frankly, until after November. So I find that to be very disingenuous, to say, hey, vote for me for comptroller. In the meantime, I'm going to be spending your tax dollar for my salary to run for mayor.
You have a little experience with Susana Mendoza prior to this campaign because she also was a member of the General Assembly. What else should people know about Mendoza?
She's very much touting of all the good work and everything she's done as a comptroller in the state of Illinois, saying all this good transparency and so on and so forth. She's knowing her and being in the General Assembly and knowing how Madigan works in the State House, she's definitely a puppet of Madigan, no question at all. She's voted for every tax increase, voted for pension holidays. I mean, and she's still doing that again today. She's using that comptroller office as a bully pulpit to bash, particularly the governor.
You're a suburbanite hailing from Naperville. I've often said, because the math demands it, that if the Republican Party is not the party of the suburbs, suburban cook and the collars, not going to be a majority party in Illinois. It's just as simple as that. And so, despite what has happened to this state, the worst governed state in the history of America, in the bottom of every financial stability measure, we seem to continue to be losing ground in places like Naperville, in places like DuPage County. Why do you think that is, and how does that get reversed?
And that's part of why I'm running for comptroller is people need to get their heads around really the significance of our financial mess right now. And the suburbs, I mean, people are busy. It's good we have programs such as yours to get the word out, but we really do need to get in people's hands the amount of debt burden we have on us. And, if people understood it, I think they may pay a little more attention, but there's no question suburbanites need to wake up. Basically every taxpayer right now in the state of Illinois, if you look at the financial burden, including the unpaid liabilities for pensions and healthcare costs, is $50,000 per taxpayer. So I really like to, knock on doors to say, hey, do you have $50,000 to bail the state out? And I think that's what's going to take, and that's what the comptroller function should be, to get that out.
What I find is interesting, and you talk about the math, and I'm all about the math, is that, people know their pocketbooks. They know their property taxes are high. They know they're being squeezed with, practically what's left to tax, but the air that we breathe, and yet they vote the same way. And, you mentioned people, people are busy and they maybe not understand. You would think by now people would understand the simple mathematics of where we are with the pension debt and how it's translating to taxes, and yet the same people keep getting elected and the status quo remains the same, and no one challenges Madigan. And I just don't, and I'm not even taking a Democrat-Republican side here. I'm saying just simply the public out there, when everybody's complaining, oh, my bills are this, and that, and they're just not changing when they go to vote.
And here's some good news that I'm seeing this for the first time. I was elected to the State House in 2008, and we were trying to get the word out that Madigan was the problem. The good news is people do understand Madigan is the problem. They're just still not connecting the, hey, when you go to vote and you vote for someone who's a Democrat, you're voting for Madigan. And that needs to get out there. But I'm seeing that everywhere when I'm out in, downstate, particularly in the suburbs. And I've been to a lot of events. I said, Susanna Mendoza is basically a puppet of Madigan, and they're like, yeah, we get it. We need to get Madigan out there. So that's being understood. I just wish people would wake up and say, hey, don't, like I said, don't keep repeating the craziness of having these like Democrats that keep putting us in the hole.
All right, she is Darlene Sanger. She is the Republican nominee for state comptroller come November 6th. You can get more information on her campaign, Darlene Sanger, Senger, darlenesanger.com. Darlene, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for your time here.
All right.
In the Florida Panhandle, bracing for Hurricane Michael, Sears adding an expert in restructuring to its board and a new benefit for Starbucks workers. Those stories next.
G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. I want to personally thank all my Plug-in Pest Free customers who've taken the time out to call, write, and who have left messages to thank me for ridding their homes and businesses of unwanted rodent and pest problems. So from me to you, I thank you. Plug-in Pest Free is the only scientifically tested and, more importantly, consumer-proven electromagnetic pest management system since 1995. Why put up with those annoying rodents and pests any longer? Plug-in Pest Free is 100% chemical-free, making it your safest bet to manage your rodent and pest problems around your family and pets. With a 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. So order yours today at gopestfree.com. Use promo code SAVE20 for 20% off and free shipping. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com today.
Hurricane Michael is expected to blow ashore near Panama City Beach, Florida, packing winds in excess of 100 miles an hour and a potential storm surge of 12 feet. Businesses and residents all along the Florida Panhandle boarding up and making final plans to evacuate after the storm swelled to full hurricane status. Struggling retailer Sears has added a restructuring expert to its board of directors, a potential sign Sears plans drastic changes to protect its remaining assets in the wake of store closures. The latest benefit for Starbucks workers, subsidized backup care for adults and children. The coffee company will give employees up to 10 backup care days annually. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com.
Success happens with an affordable full-time IT staff from Turnkey IT. Listen to another happy customer.
We're a doctor's office with a team of 2 doctors and 12 support staff in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and we're one of the original all-in contracts with Turnkey IT. It's nice to never have to worry about our computer systems and concentrate on the practice. Turnkey started with replacing every piece of equipment, including all servers and PCs. Everything is warranted, and we don't even have to think about replacing hardware for the next 4 years. All this for one monthly payment that includes unlimited support, 24/7 monitoring, cloud backup, antivirus, and anti-ransomware. A truly turnkey support program, and it's all HIPAA compliant. Thanks for the peace of mind, Turnkey IT.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Songs have been written about it, wars have been fought over it, and just holding it in the palm of your hands is magnificent. Silver and gold have been bartered, bought, and sold for centuries, and now is the time for you to invest in one of the most recognized financial assets and ensure your portfolio is guarded against inflation and a declining dollar. For such an exclusive opportunity and investment, put your trust in Kedzie Coins. Kedzie Coins is an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago. And as members of the Professional Numismatics Guild, they are committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics. With one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., Kedzie Coins is your destination to buy American. Visit one of their 3 locations, Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or the flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Bradley, just north of Kankakee. For questions or to set up an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I feel wonderful. I mean, a while ago, I was walking and my whole left side went tingly. And I don't know what happened. I've had the after effects of that in my hands and my legs. And I've noticed that since I've taken the fruits and veggies, I don't have that anymore. So that is one thing that I am very, very pleased with. Because I don't feel any of that tingly sensation in my foot. It's like my nerves are getting healed or something. It's just wonderful. I love this. I'm very, very impressed with this product.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley.
Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher and Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 7:07, are you paying attention to the Illinois governor's race? I mean, honestly, is anybody paying attention to it?
Is that a question?
312, I mean, what are you going to do when you go to the polls? I know our people are going to the polls. People listening to this show are going to the polls November 6th or early voting. So what are you going to do? We'll take your calls at 7:07. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sears reportedly ready to file for bankruptcy. Sessions plans to fight Chicago's police consent decree. And the Bulls take on the Pacers later on tonight. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
A monster of a hurricane gets even stronger as it closes in on the Florida Panhandle. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Michael's top sustained winds now 145 miles an hour.
Those that have chosen not to evacuate and they're on our coast, it's too late.
Nearly 400,000 people were urged to leave. Governor Rick Scott worried by an up to 14-foot storm surge, putting houses underwater.
I have called up 2,500 members of the National Guard. I have over 1,000 rescue individuals ready to go in as quickly as we can.
Fox's Jonathan Series in Panama City Beach.
Bay County authorities, where we are, they say that life-threatening winds have already arrived and they're urging people to shelter in place.
And the storm is expected to make landfall early afternoon. Some areas could also get a foot of rain. President Trump took more shots at Democrats last night at a rally in Iowa.
They want to destroy everything. That's all they're good at. Resisting.
He also wrote an op-ed for USA Today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Democrats have promised that Medicare for all would improve benefits for seniors. But President Trump wrote that after a life of hard work and sacrifice, seniors would no longer be able to depend on the benefits they were promised. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, told Fox and Friends,
"Seniors, don't be fooled. It's anti-senior, anti-choice. You'll lose your doctors. It would destroy Medicare Advantage."
In the piece written less than a month from the midterms, the president wrote, "If Democrats win control of Congress this November, we will come dangerously closer to socialism in America." Dave?
Rachel, Democrats have said the president's trying to undermine health care, trying to get rid of Obamacare. And the Democrat President Trump beat in 2016, Hillary Clinton, told CNN Democrats cannot be civil dealing with Republicans.
If we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
Of course, the midterm elections are now less than 4 weeks away. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 70 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man in a wheelchair at this hour is in stable condition. Shot overnight near the CTA Green Line station on Chicago's South Side. The 52-year-old victim was wounded when a man was firing a gun at someone else in the 300 block of East 47th. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra have walked off the job on strike over contract issues. The musicians began picketing yesterday in front of the Civic Opera House. They cite a proposed elimination of 5 positions and a reduction of the number of working weeks as a reason for the work stoppage. Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke is no longer in the Cook County Jail. Authorities say Van Dyke was transferred yesterday to the Rock Island County Jail for security reasons. He's due back in court October 31st. Hoffman Estates-based Sears Holdings could be filing for bankruptcy this week. Wall Street Journal reports the company is preparing its bid to deal with its structured debt. The company also has a $134 million payment due on Monday. The Bulls are set to take on the Pacers at home later on tonight in preseason action, while the Blackhawks will be on the road tomorrow night taking on the Wild. Meantime, goalie Corey Crawford is on schedule to make his season debut next Thursday against the Coyotes. The News is a service of Compassion International. For just 5 quarters a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. Pocket change to you, it's life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio. 7:03, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
He's electrified the 2016 Republican National Convention.
Blue Lives Matter in America.
He's been a strong voice in support of law enforcement, and he hasn't been afraid to call out groups like Black Lives Matter. And Sheriff David Clark is coming to Freedom Summit 2018 on October 27th in Itasca, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. Get your tickets today before they sell out. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
Ann Peterson from West Chicago isn't getting her money's worth out of Springfield.
I don't believe that we're getting additional value for the additional taxes that we're paying.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. Politicians waste your money. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes. They've just gotten out of control.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
7:06 on AM 560, and it is time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. It's also time to check the roads. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
On the northbound Tri-State Tollway, traffic is slow from 111th, 47th, and stop and go from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial northbound, stop and go 63rd to Findlay. Southbound 53 has construction delays from Kirchhoff to Higgins. Edens runs 32 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Kennedy now 54 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose, 27 in the express lane, outbound 48 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower 51 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 52 with Cratchit Wolf on the right side. Stevenson is an hour and 3 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. Ryan 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high 74. Tonight, mostly cloudy and cool, low 43. Sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, and cool tomorrow, high 50 and a low 34. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
70 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Lauren Cohen. You know her from television news and radio airwaves.
Occasionally I write a print story here and there for Chicago Woman Magazine and a few others.
Chicago Woman Magazine, of course.
You said runway earlier. I just want to clarify that. I've always wanted to be a runway model, but I wouldn't qualify.
Me too.
Your legs are longer, Dan.
I'm not saying I don't have the chops. And also a lot of fans out there, a lot of men apparently you've rebuffed over the years.
Oh,
friend of mine texted in. Circa 1996-97, I represented boxer Andrew Galata on a speeding ticket. I remember Andrew Galata, tomato can.
I don't remember this story.
A young reporter named Lauren Cohn covered it at the old traffic court building. I tried hard to hit on her and was ignored. One of her best decisions, or the day she rejected lifelong happiness, ? We'll never know.
Could be, but I appreciate that you reached out to Dan because it was probably because I was so serious, knowing me, trying to make an impression as a new reporter in Chicago, that I was paying only attention to the story, and don't take it personally. But
all right.
I also want to give a shout out to Amish because, the Amish texter.
The Amish texter,
I appreciate the tweet.
Oh, he had a nice tweet about you. He's happy to hear from you again. Happy to hear you again. He has not been rebuffed. All right. Who are you going to rebuff when it comes to the choice for governor on November 6th? Here's how I sort of encapsulate the race at present.
Uh-oh.
You got one candidate who wants to be everything, and you got another candidate who wants to be nothing, so that you focus on the guy who wants to be everything. It is two sides of the same fraudulent coin. And I will enter into evidence for consideration a number of exhibits to support my conclusion. It's just remarkable, really. Pritzker, he wants his brand, his image, his campaign to be as round as his torso. No edge. He's got a glandular problem. No edges. Right?
Now.
That's what he wants.
Let's not make fun of
He is
weight.
so unwilling to stake out territory on any issue that he refuses to even define what middle-class income, what he means by the middle class.
I don't know that it's unwillingness. I just don't think he knows.
Well, okay, fine, but here's the thing. It's a fair question to ask, as was posed to him at the Sun-Times editorial board yesterday, and then after that editorial board session that he and Ronner had before the editorial, before the Sun-Times. It's a fair question to ask when you're one of these fortune cookie politicians that just continues to say middle-class families, middle-class families, middle-class families. Okay, well, nice moniker. I get it. You're for middle-class families, everybody's for middle-class families, and everybody's in the middle class. But what specifically do you mean when you're talking about a constituency that you want to serve specifically, since you're mentioning them all the time? He wouldn't answer before the Sun-Times Ed Board. Ronner said between 50 and 200 grand is middle class. I mean, 200 grand is middle class. Everybody thinks they're in the middle class. Even Pritzker and Ronner. Pritzker wouldn't answer it before the editorial board, and then he wouldn't answer it at the post-game presser.
Why can't you answer the question about middle class income? What do you believe middle class income is?
Well, again, I've told you that it's important that we negotiate this.
No. I'm not asking about the graduate.
But
what does someone make?
It doesn't matter, because what does matter is that we're going to have to negotiate this with the legislature, and it's going to have to go through a referendum of the people of Illinois.
What does someone make who is middle class? What does someone make who's middle class?
Well, we talked a little bit about that.
No, you didn't answer it. Why is that difficult?
Why is it
Did
difficult?
he say it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Is that at this point, what difference does it make?
Well,
what he's saying, I mean, just to be fair, he's saying it doesn't matter for the purposes of this discussion about a graduated state income tax. That's the topic. So when you say middle-class tax relief with a graduated income tax, well, what's the income threshold? So it does matter.
He doesn't want to give the brackets on that.
Right. So who's going to get an income tax increase under your proposal, your idea, the Democrats' plan, and who is not? And the fact is that you don't come up with serious money unless you tax people who can't leave. Right? So if you're in Illinois, like half the state, according to Paul Simon, Public Policy Institute polling, if you're in Illinois only because you can't leave but you would like to, you're going to get taxed under a graduated state income tax proposal the Democrats, Bobby Martwick on the northwest side of the city, and J.B. Pritzker have proposed. And, the teachers union support and Queen Sugar and the rest of the flotsam and jetsam of the left. You absolutely are going to see your taxes raised yet again after the 32% income tax increase over which Ronner presided and 15 House Republicans surrendered last year. That is going to happen if their proposal were to be enacted, because you can't get anything on the order of the money you need for the political hit you take if you don't go down to the middle class. I mean, the top 1%, top 2%, it doesn't generate money. They can move their residency. They can move their money. You just don't get it. We've seen this over and over again in Maryland and New Jersey. You try and go after the millionaires tell you to take a hike because they took a hike. So it's great politics, great class envy politics. It doesn't work in terms of actually generating any excess cash to paper over your unwillingness to address spending and to address systems that are systemically incapable of producing what they promise to produce. All the systems in Illinois state government.
This is why, Dan, I don't understand why he's so ahead in the polls, because he doesn't, I don't even think it's, not, like I said, unwillingness. I think he just doesn't know. I don't think he understands.
He's a fraud.
And I don't think his ads about healthcare bother me, because he probably doesn't even know how the healthcare system works and what people are paying. He's not explaining the taxes. He has no economic plan when it comes to real jobs and job opportunity, about anything about Chicago violence, nothing.
Let me tell you something. If the Democrats move, and I'm not convinced they will, but if the Democrats do move to impose a graduated state income tax under Governor Pritzker, then he better put those toilets back in his house, because all those middle-class families that he's campaigning to represent are going to have to live in that house. I mean, honestly,
we all just got flushed.
It's going to be a group home for middle class, his palatial estate that sometimes has toilets and sometimes doesn't. But see, so it's this kind of statement because he doesn't want to take a position on anything. He doesn't want to say anything. He just wants you to remember that Bruce Rauner has been a catastrophe, which of course he has. Just wants you to remember that, so he doesn't want to take a position on anything. But by not doing that, he's sort of keeping, and with the Kavanaugh bump and the enthusiasm gap closing between Republicans and Democrats, he's sort of keeping Rauner hanging around in the race. That combined with the fact that he committed property tax fraud. And if he wasn't Pritzker, and if we had a serious person as the Cook County State's attorney or as the Attorney General of the state of Illinois, he could be prosecuted.
Oh, but wait, can I correct you on that? Wasn't that his wife's doing? Wasn't that throw my wife under the bus?
Throw my wife under the bus. That's always a popular play. But then on the flip side, you've got Bruce Rauner, who wants to be everything to everybody. Let's put the wife on TV to say how pro-abortion she is, to get the Glencoe Highland Park North Shore set. Let's then run around talking about. I mean, this is just staggering what he said. I mean, Mark Brown, I rarely agree with. I rarely even read. But he's right about this. Probably only a matter of time before Rauner starts chanting, "Build that wall." Rauner, who signed sanctuary state legislation.
But keeps saying he doesn't support sanctuary cities. That's the other thing. I'm very confused about his stance on that, because he flip-flops on that all the time.
Because he's lying. That should help to alleviate your confusion. He signed sanctuary state legislation. He's been the sort of open borders crowd when it comes to his buddy Tiny Dancer and what's happened in Chicago. He sounds, as Mark Brown writes, you thought the governor had been deputized by U.S. Border Patrol and signed on to President Trump's reelection campaign. He told the Sun-Times editorial board yesterday, Ronner, illegal immigration takes away jobs from Americans, holds down wages, hurts union workers, farm workers, factory worker, hurts wages, raises unemployment. That's a fact. So, I mean, he's taken every position on every issue. So how can you trust that? How can you trust it? He said he wouldn't sign HB 40 and make everybody complicit in abortion on demand in the state. He did it and made Illinois, sort of solidified Illinois' position as the Midwest dumping ground for abortions.
And that flip-flopping is what's helping J.B. Pritzker, while people are then not really listening to the fact that J.B. Pritzker doesn't take a stance and doesn't have information on anything.
Well, right. I mean, so because you've destroyed your you've destroyed your credibility by having no integrity. That's Bruce Rauner's problem. And so his strongly disapprove is very high, and it's not moving. It's not that J.B. Pritzker, Spalding, is some beloved figure, like, oh, I can't wait for Spalding. Oh, here's a fresh new face. Oh, here's a change agent. Nobody thinks that. But they've already made their decision about Rauner because they saw on every single issue on which he campaigned, he has been a capitulator. Now he wants to come back in the final days of the campaign and pretend it's 2014 all over again, and he's the maverick outsider. So, hey, I'm going to be tough on illegal immigration. I'm against sanctuary cities. I'm against sanctuary states because there's a marginal benefit there because the state general electorate is opposed to sanctuary states. Well, he should have thought of that before he signed sanctuary state legislation.
Can you agree, though, that he's more fiscally responsible than a J.B. Pritzker?
Based on what? He presided over and played Pontius Pilate while he saw his genius top lieutenant Jim Durkin in the House, a surrender Republican through and through, watch 1/3 of his caucus vote for the largest income tax increase in Illinois history. All Rauner's money. I'm staying out of it. The General Assembly is working on it. No lobbying, no demanding that Republicans stay in line to oppose this largest tax increase in Illinois history. Completely blurred the lines between the two parties. And he's responsible for it. You know why? Because he may be the guy who says he's not in charge, but he's the chief executive of the state, and that's who people look to. Doesn't fly. Doesn't fly. So pick an issue. Junk science on gender, sanctuary state, the competence, meaning the lack of competence in handling the Legionnaires outbreak in Quincy that he's trying to lie his way around again, just like he did in the primary against Ives. The presiding Pontius Pilating over the largest income tax increase in history. Where does the state find itself? In a better position than 4 years ago? No, continuing to find new bottoms every day.
Makes for a tough choice when you go to the polls, Dan.
Well, this is my point. This is exactly my point.
You got to pick someone.
That's right. And so that's the question. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Which side of this fraudulent coin are you going to land on? Or are you not going to flip it at all? Lee in Hickory Hills, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, good morning. First-time caller. Thank you for taking my call.
Great.
I listen to you guys often, and I think you guys are great. I don't have a question. I guess what I'm hoping is you can unconfuse me.
Okay.
So this has to do with the governor race. I was brought up thinking there were two parties, maybe three parties, which was Republican, Democrat, and Independent. And back then, I think the Independent was a lawyer out of California, and I can't remember his name right now. But at any rate, I read in the paper now that we have four parties running for governor: the regular Democrat, Republican, which you've been talking about, and then Libertarian and Conservative. And then I'm wondering if there is still an Independent party, and if Independent Party is the same as Green Party or not.
No.
I'm trying to straighten this out in my head.
So
I'll hang. Oh,
right.
I was going to say I can hang up and listen to your answer.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Lee. Appreciate that. Glad to have you on board. First-time caller. So Republican, Democrat for governor, and for some other offices, Attorney General. There's a Libertarian candidate as well. Libertarian Party candidate is a guy named Cash Jackson. Conservative Party candidate is a guy named Sam McCann, who's a state senator from downstate Illinois. Those are the four parties who have candidates represented on the gubernatorial ballot, and then it varies for some of the other races. So that's where that's at. And that's not the same as an independent party or whatever. These are sort of third parties that are trying to get established by clearing the 5% threshold, so they have the same ballot access as the established two parties. So each one of them is different. Tom in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I wanted to simply say that I've been giving it a lot of thought the last month and a half. As a matter of fact, to your point, I'm thinking about just leaving the governor's slot blank.
Well, yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. That's probably what I'll do. I mean, if I'm being honest, which I am. That's what I did. Mark Kirk versus Tammy Duckworth. You know, at a certain threshold, I understand you change your position on issues. I understand political compromises. I understand exigencies that occur where you have to massage your position. But, you know, when you sell out the first principles of the party at every turn or at enough turns that the difference between you and the other side is non-existent. And in point of fact, the real difference is that the Republican candidate can do what the other side can't, which is destroy the party from within. There's a civil war going on in the Illinois Republican Party in this state. It's because of Bruce Rauner and his welfare queen flacks like Jim Durkin and Bill Brady, these super minority rats being led by the Pied Piper that is Bruce Rauner because he's got a checkbook. That's what you can do. So we didn't learn the lesson from Mark Kirk and Tammy Duckworth. And Mark Kirk got his clock cleaned just as people like me predicted would happen. And so likely that's the same thing that happens with Rauner. And then, you know, there'll be finger pointing and whatnot. But if you look into the final analysis, elections are the means of doing something, advancing a policy agenda. So what policy agenda has been advanced? And why did Bruce Rauner almost become one of three governors in the last 100 years in this country to lose his party's nomination in a primary? Rarely happens. Rarely that close. Why? Why do you think that was? Why did Ives come so close? Because everybody that voted for Ives is wrong? Verlon on the south side.
Hello, Lauren. Dan, you took all the wind out of my sails. Everything I was going to say, you said it. So I'm going to put a bow on it. Ronald must be bipolar to think he can stand on that stage and rail against illegal aliens, but make this a sanctuary state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a protest vote, and I hope all the conservatives do the same. I'm going to write in Jenny Ives' name, and if enough conservatives make a protest vote, we can show our disdain for him and our ongoing support for Jenny Ives.
All right, thanks for the call, Verlon. Steve in Oswego.
Well, we have to be a little gracious to Bruce Rauner in one regard. You know, when he got elected in 2014, he was dealt a pretty bad hand. He had a virtual veto-proof majority against him, and you know it's tough to get things done when you have that situation. However, you know, hopefully with Toiletgate being up in front in the news, maybe Rauner will successfully draw to an inside straight flush.
Yeah, there you go.
But I also think he makes an interesting point, and that is if you know, in your point, I think you're trying to say sort of do you go for the lesser of two evils, or do you not vote at all because you feel unhappy and betrayed by Bruce Rauner, and at the same time you don't want J.B. Pritzker? So do you vote for the lesser of two evils, or do you not vote at all? And if it is a no vote, a vote for J.B. Pritzker? It seems to me that a no vote is a vote for J.B. Pritzker.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. If you don't hold people accountable who betray you, you will get more betrayals. People didn't get it. I made the same point about Rahm in 2015. No. And where are we in 2018? Rahm's gone. They finally had enough. And he finally became unviable. If you don't hold people accountable who are bad actors, if you don't establish any standards of conduct, if there is no quality control, then you will continue to suffer as a result. You won't get anything that you suggest you want. So you're an adult and you hold people accountable. It's the first order of business. Holding incumbents accountable for what they do or don't do. It's the only way you get change.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Grow My Retirement.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. But Bill, what does it actually mean to retire with confidence?
Mike, isn't that what we all need and want, to be able to retire with confidence? This is what I talk about with people every day. You want to be able to pay your bills. You want to be able to take the grandkids on vacation. You want to know that you're not going to run out of money. You want to know that you can leave a legacy. It's all good stuff. But Mike, retirement is a really, really long time. We could be retired for 20, 25, 30 years. Basically, that's how we define unemployment, going a long period of time without a paycheck. So how do you do that? How do you retire with confidence? The key to retiring with confidence is you want to create dependable, sustainable income in your portfolio that's going to last you for the rest of your life. Nothing's perfect, but when you're in retirement and the next big downturn comes along, you want to be able to sleep at night and know that you're okay. And you should actually work on creating more income than what you need. If you have more income than what you need in retirement, you'll know how you're going to pay your bills, go on a trip, take care of the grandkids. You'll know that you're not going to run out of money. And you'll know that you're going to be able to leave a legacy. And folks, that's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do on a complimentary basis a full-blown retirement plan for them. We're going to work with them on how to set up a plan so they know how to protect what they have, so they know how to create a dependable, sustainable income stream, and so they know, maybe for the first time ever, have that confidence to know that they have a game plan to move themselves into retirement.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up at 7:37, we'll discuss the Nobel laureates, recent Nobel laureates in economics, with Steve Moore, one of whom suggests that the economics of climate change, the alarmists have it all wrong. That's at 7:37. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 70 degrees. Florida Panhandle bracing for a dangerous Category 4 hurricane. Michael churning out just off the Gulf Coast. Panhandle winds at 145 miles an hour.
140 mile per hour winds, peak gusts 170. Just try to grip that. The last time we gave a forecast like this for winds like this from a hurricane was Hurricane Charlie. That was over 13 years ago. I mean, this has stronger winds than what we dealt with last year with Harvey and with Irma.
Our meteorologist Bill Cairns tells us landfall is expected this afternoon. U.S. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley plans to exit the Trump administration at the end of the year.
Very special to me. She's done an incredible job. She's a fantastic person, very importantly, but she also is somebody that gets it.
Haley says she will not run for president in 2020 and will be supporting the president's re-election bid. Sears Holdings could be filing for bankruptcy this week. The Wall Street Journal reports the Hoffman Estates-based company is preparing a bankruptcy bid to deal with its debt. Charges pending after a person crashed a stolen vehicle into several other cars on the near north side, injuring 3. Union musicians for the Lyric Opera Orchestra are on strike over contract issues. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he'll plan to fight a pending consent decree aimed at reforming the Chicago Police Department. Chicago sports. Bulls set to play the Pacers tonight at home in preseason action. Blackhawks on the road tomorrow night to face the Wild. And the Bears will have a new look Sunday when they take on the Dolphins in Miami. Monsters of the Midway plan to sport those orange alternate jerseys for the first time since the NFL switched over to Nike in 2012. The news is a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My story begins with debt, a lot of debt, credit card debt, and I heard a commercial for Trinity. I gave them a call.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
When I first called, I was a little embarrassed and kind of ashamed, and I looked at the numbers, and I saw how quickly that astronomical debt that was in my life would go away.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
What I would tell other people, please pick up the phone and call Trinity. Just let them put together a program and see how affordable and easy it is to pay off your debt.
Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I spent years studying how to make this the best. I didn't make this because I wanted to make a company. Other companies are starting to catch on to this, and I buy every single other product that comes out so I can look at it and see it and test it. And I fear that people will buy some counterfeit. Don't be fooled. This is the real stuff. We have absolutely the best process, and I can say that because we purchase every single one and check them out.
I took everything that was on the market. Nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked. And this is the first thing that's really worked.
Nothing can compare with the benefits of Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:38, and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is jammed. Harlem to the Burns Circle. It is an hour and 7 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 34 minutes from Montrose. 35 on the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to the airport. Edens is 27 minutes. Lake Cook Junction outbound 29. Eisenhower 50 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 52 with a crash at 25th on the right side. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35 minutes. Ryan is 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-States, though, 120 to 137. The Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound from 111th to 47th and from the Reagan to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial delays are northbound. Alton to Finley, Army Trail to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, breezy not as warm, rain and a thunderstorm expected, high 74. Currently 70, next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Lauren Cohn. You know her from Fox Chicago, reporter, anchor, WLS, talk show host. Happy to have her in studio today.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about a favorite topic of yours, Lauren. I know, Nobel Prizes in economics. One of the recipients this year, William Nordhaus of Yale. Right. I hope he doesn't run afoul of that anti-Kavanaugh crowd on campus. He is being hailed by the left, his Nobel Prize, particularly for his work in environmental economics. Because he has, I don't want to say advocated, but he certainly calculated an optimal carbon tax, about 36 cents per gallon of gasoline to deal with reducing reliance on fossil fuels. But that's only part of the story, as the leftists want to report. The other part of the story is Nordhaus, his research, making it clear that the projections, mandates, goals of the UN, IPCC, the Intergovernmental Climate Change Panel they've got, as well as, the environmental extremists in this country. Nordhaus's research gives light to all of that. Good piece in the Wall Street Journal by Bjorn Lomborg, who's president of the Copenhagen Consensus Center. He's an environmental sciences expert as well. He's been writing about this topic for some time. The global economy must be transformed immediately to avoid catastrophic climate change. That's the UN. They want to limit temperatures to 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit above pre-industrial levels. That's what the IPCC wants. Mr. Nordhaus's work, the economist who won the Nobel Prize, shows that is economically and practically impossible. Models reveal that to achieve the 2.7 degree goal, the world must stop all fossil fuels in less than 4 years. Yet the International Energy Agency estimates that in 2040, fossil fuels will still meet 3/4 of the world's energy needs, even were the Paris Accord, from which the United States withdrew in Trump's infinite wisdom, even were that accord fully implemented. It's absurd and obscene and would be catastrophic to, mankind. Remember us, the humans? I know the left isn't so interested in us, but Lomborg has previously written about the impacts of what the left wants, because this has been modeled. A couple of months ago, he dissected this study that was published in Nature Climate Change researchers from the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis. I'm using all these names of organizations and associations you probably never heard of because, people who are not on board for the left's program are anti-science. Hardly. The ideologues of the left are anti-science. These researchers, experts in the space, found strong global climate action would cause more hunger and food insecurity than climate change itself. They used 8 global agricultural models to analyze various scenarios between now and 2050. These models suggest on average that climate change could put an extra 24 million people at risk of hunger. But a global carbon tax would increase food prices and push 78 million more people into risk of hunger. Trying to help 24 million people by imperiling 78 million people's lives is a very poor policy, wrote Lumbergh at the time. It is, and we have additional economic backup to support that contention. I know this is a particular area of interest and expertise for our next guest as well, who writes about energy policy routinely, wrote a book about it. Very good. Stephen Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist for CNN. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Good morning. And by the way, my mentor, of course, as you know, Dan, was the great economist who did deserve a Nobel Prize, Julian Simon,
yes,
from the University of Illinois, who we all now describe as a doomslayer because he proved 40 years ago that all of these apocalyptic claims by the radical environmentalists, every single one of them has been false. And so when I read the newspaper, I think it was, when did that story come out? Sunday. Oh, my God. Doom, the planet is facing environmental destruction. There will be no more water. There will be forest fires. There will be hurricanes. There will be, mass famine. I've read those headlines for 40 years, and every single prediction of doom, of course, has been discredited. Look, if global warming is the apocalyptic future that the United Nations climate scientists, who make, by the way, billions and billions of dollars off of this racket, if it were all true, then does there anyone out there, raise your hand if anyone thinks that the United Nations is going to change the global temperature? I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The way we would deal with climate change, if it were true, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, I think there's contrary evidence, is through technology and growth, not through government action. And Dan, the thing that makes me so angry about this story is read what first they say, it's going to be global apocalypse unless we do something. And then what do they want to do? They want to basically have collective action, which is bigger government dictating every area of your life, from the kind of light bulb you put in your lamp to, your flush toilet and every other area of your life, what kind of car you can drive. I mean, this would be the biggest advance for statism since Stalin was on the planet.
Well, and let's emphasize one other point that I know you understand, but it should be made explicit. This is about the mob. This is about mob action in the UN, transferring wealth from industrialized wealthy countries to less industrialized, not wealthy countries.
So Dan, this is a great point you're making. So the biggest problem on the planet in terms of poor people who are desperately poor, who don't have enough food to eat and don't have a home and are in severe poverty, is they have what we call energy poverty. They don't have energy. They don't have fossil fuels. They don't have I've been to some of these African villages. They don't have basic electricity. And so for our really, really rich billionaires like Tom Steyer to go to Africa and say you shouldn't use fossil fuels is inhumane. Of course they should use fossil fuels. That's how they're going to bring development. One of the points of our book, Dan, which I know you've read, every page of, but one of the great, I think, insights in the book is that the Industrial Revolution, which led, which was the great leap forward in terms of mankind, which has allowed, billions of people live a middle-class lifestyle, was that the Industrial Revolution was led by energy. It was an energy revolution where we moved away from using windmills and solar panels to using the steam engine and coal and oil and gas, which is what powered this incredible society we have today. And the idea we're going to move back to a pre-industrial age form of energy would mean that we're all going back to the Stone Age, folks.
Well, this to me, Stephen, is don't think, we're going to think for you, therefore you're dependent on us for all your thoughts and actions. And that's scary to me. Well, what scares me is that this is, to me, the conversation is don't think, we're going to think for you, therefore you're going to be dependent on government, and then we have all control.
Well, exactly. This would be the biggest lurch forward for, by the way, it's not just national government, it's basically global government. You know, you're going to have these bureaucrats in Brussels tell you, you know, how to live your life and what kind of car you can drive, every aspect of your life. Because energy is the master resource. Everything that we have, the telephone I'm talking into, the computer, that you're tapping on, the breakfast you have, the dinner you're going to have, the chair you're sitting on, everything is derivative of energy. If you want to destroy a society, take away their energy sources, and that's sort of the bottom line here. The idea, like California and a lot of these environmentalists, go to 100% renewable energy. I mean, you want to talk about energy poverty? We'd live like African tribes do.
Switching gears, talking a little bit domestically and beyond energy, the good news numbers on unemployment again last week, generally speaking, although I'm not sure what they necessarily mean, and this sort of continuing, seemingly, although I say this with much trepidation, unwinding of a decade of easy money by the Fed. Where do you see economic growth and the continued job creation and, importantly, wage increases in the next quarter or two?
So last week, it was kind of overshadowed, obviously, by the Kavanaugh nomination process. But last week might have been the single best week for Trump, which is saying a lot, given how well the economy is doing. But economically, the news that came out last week was just one day after another incredibly good news. It started on Monday with the announcement of the trade deal with Canada and Mexico, which is a fantastic thing. It means North America will retain its free trade zone arrangement, which is good for all three countries. The second thing that happened was the next day Amazon announced it's raising its wage to $15 an hour, which is fantastic. That's 250,000 workers that are going to get a pay raise. And that's the testament to how tight the labor market is. The third thing that happened, of course, was the jobs report, where we now have the lowest unemployment rate since, I think, John and Paul were writing songs together for the Beatles. And then we've got...
Glad you said writing songs, because we know from Paul they were doing other things.
Young people, when I say that to young people, they're, who are the Beatles? And then these millennials, I can't stand them. And then, the best news, I thought, was, you may have seen it, guys, it was a story on A6, page A6 in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, that they looked at what has happened to wages over the last year. And lo and behold, they found that the biggest wage gains for Americans was for those who do not have a high school degree and those in the bottom 10% of income. They had 5% increase in their wages. That's like the first time that's happened in 40 years. Amazing, And by the way, the left kept saying, "Oh, these are just tax cuts for the rich people." No, the people at the bottom had the biggest gains. So it's just good news. And by the way, I don't think that the Fed is going to be able to stop this expansion. I'm kind of ambivalent about whether the Fed should be raising rates. I don't see really any signs of inflation out there. I know gas prices are rising. I'm a little concerned about that. But you look at other kind of commodities, you just don't see any signs of inflation. Employers and businessmen and women tell me they don't have a lot of pricing power. They can't go out there and raise their prices by 10%, or they're going to get clobbered by their competition. So, it's a full-fledged boom we're in right now, and I think it can last another couple of years.
All right, he is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist and chief economist for CNN. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you. And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The players are fired up. The coaches are prepared for battle. The student section is rumbling. The band is ready to rock. And you You're ready for victory.
Touchdown, Northern Illinois!
Every game, every victory is right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the 112th homecoming as the Huskies battle the Ohio Bobcats this Saturday afternoon at 2:30, right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I know a lot of our listeners still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Well, even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to get the support you need, regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. One for you and the other for a loved one or as a holiday gift. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Giza cotton sheets, and more if you use the promo code AMY. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this
because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fiore-Avanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business